Hey guys, your boy Charlie's back. Back for your viewing pleasure, presenting a wide range of watches for your three-piece watch collection. Starter collection. Three-piece watch collections are ideal for the individual who wants to have a starter basic watch collection for every kind of social interaction out there. Price range will be on the lower side. I'll try to be objective when talking about the pricing. These watches are considered cheap or lower tier watches. I'm going to present three categories. For each category there are going to be multiple watches presented, so stay tuned. Category number 1, the digital watch. No, I'm not going to talk about them smartwatches, and I'm going to tell you why. Listen, I understand they are in high demand and visibly a part of today's fashion statements. But to be frank, they are what they are, fast fashion. Do you remember anyone wearing their smartwatch after 2 years? Just do yourself, your wallet, and the planet a favor and just don't buy them. So anyway, back to this category. Or as I should have called it, Casio category. So first is going to be the ever popular and cult classic Casio F-91W. Known, first of all, for its piss poor backlight, retro case, and 80s technology. This 34mm by 38mm case size bad boy has a stopwatch function, alarm, calendar, and barely visible backlight. But no three-piece collection is complete without this one. Module inside is a quartz movement, module number 593, and the price is around 15-20 euros, around the same price in dollars also. So if this piss poor backlight is bothering you, then may I present you a better version of this Casio, the Casio F-105. This version might appear smaller than the previous F-91W because of its visible lugs and higher 10mm profile. But I think it's a good choice for your girly wrists, if you have girly wrists like I do. It sports an updated quartz module, module number 3298, and the price is around 20 euros. So let's say you're a geek, you like furries, you watch anime, steampunks, and you know one or two things about goth girlfriends. Look no further, fam, I gotcha. I gotcha with this Casio CA-53W. The wrist calculator from back in the day. I mean, case size, it's 43mm. It's the watch of Marty McFly from the movie Back to the Future. So if you just get your bomber jacket out and you're good to go. However, one thing you need to consider is that the buttons are virtually useless. If you are a fully developed human being, that is. And let's be honest, probably you'll never use a calculator anyway. But I think it doesn't hurt to have one, right? Module is a quartz movement number 3208, and price is around 30 euros. So moving on, coolest retro Casio, you say? Yeah, Casio A700W. Yes, my friend, yes. Yeah, boy Charlie has made a video about retro beauty. Link is going to be in the description. Go check it out. Category number 2, the sports watch. Or in our case, it's going to be the diver watch. Go to hell, sedentary lifestyle. Power to the diver's watch. Said probably no one ever. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, just a couple of thoughts regarding the concept of dive watches. Back in the day, the 1960s, when diving became popular and went from being purely a military profession thanks to the advancements in material sciences that made this activity accessible for the masses, the need for exact time measurements underwater arose and became a paramount problem to be solved. A couple of identifiers for the diver's genre. It's going to be the screw down crown. In the majority of cases, this is the way. However, some dive watches came with a simple push-pull crown and are fairly usable underwater. Just think of the concept as with a bottle and its cap. You screw the cap down and voila, the bottle becomes airtight. Another thing is the dive bezel. This is a must. If it's a unidirectional ratcheting bezel, then yeah, this is the safest construction. But other constructions do exist as well, such as the friction operated bezel. Basically, you just use it to measure time underwater. But let's be realists, probably you will never use this function. So let's start with the first example, and this has to be a Casio, you say. And I say, yes, you are right. It has to be. So first one is Casio MRW200H-1BV. Casio and its model name. It's an entry-level dive watch at its finest. There isn't much to add apart from the bare minimum. Resin case, modern size, 48 by 45 millimeters, with a thickness of 12 millimeters. Quartz movement, you get an extra day-date function and a push-pull crown. But the star of the show, it's the unidirectional bezel. You get 10 bar water resistance, which is totally fine for swimming and recreational diving. Also, it conforms to the ISO 2281 diving standard. Next, off to a controversial topic due to current political events. These are the Russian divers, namely Vostok Komandirskie and Vostok Amphibia, or as people know, it's called Scuba Dude. Now I know that classic Komandirskie watches are not technically marketed as dive watches, but they do sport friction bezels and they have a clever screw-down case back. By having threaded crowns, they are suited for a diving environment nonetheless. But a word of warning, I am not a fan of conspiracy theories, but some of these Komandirskie watches look as if they were made for today's events regarding Ukraine. Scary, if you ask me. Hopefully, if somehow the situation gets resolved, then Vostok watches will become available again in the West. So, Vostok Scuba Dude, yes, that's what it's called. By who, you ask? By the people, I answer. Should people be allowed to name watches, you ask? No, I answer. But anyway, it's a bundle of everything Soviet. Reliable tractor movement, rough case finishing, but overall made for the purpose of telling time underwater. Movement is Vostok 2416B, which is a 31 jewel automatic movement with a day complication. A rough and unsophisticated movement that does its job. There are stories of watches working without maintenance for 20-30 years, which is crazy in my opinion. Prices go around 100 euros. Now, let's get serious. The last contender in this category. A perfect Tudor Black Bay replacement. Citizen NY0040. And who has done a video about this bad boy? Yes, it's your boy, Charlie. Now go and check out the video. Link in the description below. Category number 3. The dress watch. Now bear in mind, the availability of some of the wristwatches presented here are based on the supply found in Central Europe. So if you're watching from another part of planet Earth, some watches might be off limits, difficult to procure. And yes, again, your boy Charlie, he's gonna go with a controversial statement. Go vintage. For dress watches, go vintage. And especially vintage Soviet watches. And the prime example is the plentiful Poljot De Luxe, a beautiful example of Soviet craftsmanship made mainly for export. Yeah, double standards indeed. Citizens of the Soviet Union would have to suffice with the good old trusty Pobeda. One thing which sets these apart from other watches is the pristine sunburst dial. Etched indices, minimalist 1960s design, and super slim case profile. Perfect for a gentleman who's buttoned up and ready to go. Size 35 millimeters. Perfection. Movement. Again, it's going to be a reliable tractor movement a la Soviet Union. Caliber 2209, a 23 jewel movement. But this is what a dress watch should be about. Simple, timeless design, reliable, low maintenance movement. Price is around 150 euros and upwards. So the next example, also the last example, is going to be a Swiss one. And a vintage one as well. Entering the scene is Doxa Jumbo. And you're going to be asking, again, why are they called Jumbo, Mr. Charlie? Well, because back in the day, in the 1940s and 1950s, watch sizes, especially for men, were much smaller, with the size being smaller or equal than 24 millimeters. However, larger watches were made also, but in much smaller numbers. Anyway, long story short, you know how enthusiasts are. They started calling them Jumbo after the famous circus elephant to highlight its bigger size. Movement, it's going to be Adolf Schild, or as we know, AS movements, particularly 103, which is an 11.5 league movement. League is a French word for sizing watch movements. And in my opinion, it's a bomb-proof choice. Parts are plentiful. Movement is as reliable as it gets. And the price is around 100 euro plus. So what's so special about these watches? Well, first, they're contemporary size. Second, they're beautiful minimalists and timeless dial. Don't want a Poljot De Luxe for yourself? Go with these Swiss beauties. Anyway, I'm off. Glad that you watched the video. Cheerios.